The Cleveland Browns have the opportunity to go 3-1 and head into the bye week on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Ravens have always been a difficult matchup for this Cleveland Browns team, but unlike the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens aren't sure who they are just yet. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I want to thank everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. And of course, the everyday crowd, which just keeps continuing to grow. Best thing to do to join the everyday crowd by being subscribed to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the good folks at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Hello, everybody. As we close out the week here, who knows? Maybe we'll record tomorrow. We still got a lot of indecision here, indecisiveness as far as what we don't know, who's playing and who is not playing for the Baltimore Ravens up to this point. Just a quick status update, obviously, for the Baltimore Ravens. The young edge rushers, David Ojabo, both of those have still not practiced this week. Marlon Humphrey has still not practiced this week. On the offensive side of the ball, Odell Beckham Jr. has not practiced this week. Rashad Bateman has not practiced this week. We'll see what Friday brings. As far as looking at this on the offensive side of the ball here, look, for the Cleveland Browns, this is kind of one of those, honestly, both sides of the ball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Cleveland Browns have had a really, really solid week after, the victory last week against the Tennessee Titans. And, all the newness, obviously, no more Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford becoming a starting running back, Kareem Hunt back into the fold. And it went extremely well against the Tennessee Titans. But as I've been saying here, there is a lengthy lineup of weapons for the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper, big numbers the last 2 weeks, not forced targets coming within the flow of the offense. Last week, we were able to get both of your young receivers, obviously Donovan Peoples-Jones and Elijah Moore involved, 8 receptions for both of those young guys. As this team is now, we know it was going to trend towards a more passing offense. But now, obviously, more Donovan Peoples-Jones, more opportunities for them as the Browns are going to be throwing the football a little bit more as they're still going to try to rediscover, their running game. No Marlon Humphrey. And look, the Ravens are weak at the cornerback position. No, Marlon Humphrey not practicing yet to this point makes me believe that, maybe he's not going to be a part of this. But even still, there's not much there cornerback-wise for the Baltimore Ravens outside of Marlon Humphrey. So it's going to be Marlon Humphrey and Amari Cooper. And look, Hump's coming back off of an injury. This isn't always the easiest thing to slide into. And, I don't know what the Ravens think of the Cleveland Browns, but they're going to get a pretty good idea about who this 2023 version of the Cleveland Browns are on Sunday. So Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore. And look, Elijah Moore, all that you were seeing last week, all the underneath stuff. And look, yes, the flea flicker screen, if Elijah Moore had been able to, use just a tad bit more patience, maybe the opportunity was there for a much, much bigger play. But you get these opportunities. You continue to get these opportunities. All these short throws to Elijah Moore either lead to A, the dagger deep shot, or B, Elijah Moore just loose in the open field, and he has that ability, has great open field ability, yard after the catch ability, and of course, the 4.35 speed, from his time he's in college, and that is still translatable asset for this team. With also, that you're looking at this a little bit more here. The running game, we're still, a work in progress here. Because you're not going to basically have this system that you thought was so great for Nick Chubb. You're going to have to start to, putting in little packages, for what you think is best for Jerome Ford, what you think is best for Kareem Hunt, which we obviously probably know what that is already. And of course, Pierre Strong Jr., is there going to be a role for him here? Look, he's the fastest guy in that room. You got to think the Browns are thinking that there's an opportunity to get Pierre Strong Jr. involved here. You look at, other aspects of it. David Njoku's always had solid games against the Baltimore Ravens. It's been a quiet first 3 weeks for David Njoku. He's been playing the model citizen. Look, I want to win. And I truly think David Njoku believes that. And I think David Njoku understands what an important asset he is also as a blocker for this team. But, 85 would like some touches, and 85 would like an opportunity to make some plays, get some yards, possibly get in the end zone, and get obviously a big Chief slam here. You look at the Ravens defense. Whether either of the young edge rushers play, to be determined, obviously, at the time of this recording. We'll know more after Friday, and we get an injury report there. Do they get a designation? Do they get a game time decision? We'll see how that comes. We're going to see old friend Jadeveon Clowney. And, look, if there's an opportunity for Wyatt Teller or Joel Bitonio to pull and get an opportunity on Jadeveon Clowney and, maybe let him know that, they did not appreciate the way he quit on the team last year, the way he influenced younger players to become a bigger negative influence, just like Jadeveon Clowney was last year. So if there's an opportunity for 75 or 77 to get one-on-one with Jadeveon Clowney, I would think both those guys are going to relish the moment to let him know that they did not appreciate the way that they, were treated as teammates of Jadeveon Clowney. Geno Stone, safety's had a really good year this year. He's somebody to watch. If Deshaun has any issues with accuracy, Geno Stone is a guy that can probably, take advantage of that. The linebacker unit, look, Roquan Smith, one of the best in the game. His comments notwithstanding the other day. And, hey, look, go ahead, keep talking. Ask Jamar Chase, give him a text, see how that worked out. When you're talking about this 2023 version of the Cleveland Browns, because when Jamar Chase did it, didn't lead to anything positive. So you want to run your mouth, Roquan Smith, go ahead and be my guest. But I have a feeling this team is going to be ready for everything you want to bring to them on Sunday. Patrick Queen, it was always a player. And if you guys remember back in that draft class, I was more of a fan of where the Browns got Jacob Phillips than where the Ravens got Patrick Queen. Obviously, Patrick Queen has been on the field a lot more. Patrick Queen is a guy that makes plays that he's maybe not supposed to make. He misses a lot of plays that he is designated and assigned to make. That's the reason the Ravens didn't pick up the fifth-year option. That's the reason they went out and got a player like Roquan Smith. And, of course, they have the young linebacker from Clemson, Trenton Simpson, waiting in the weeds, obviously, for an opportunity at any playing time to be had. The Ravens play the odd front. We talked about this during the Pittsburgh Steelers week. This is always difficult for the Browns. They just don't match up as well against it. The stand-up guys on the outside. Look, the Ravens got a bunch of them. We'll see who's eligible to play. But he saw Will struggle with it. DeJuan Jones did not, just didn't. So we'll see, see how DeJuan transitions here. Obviously, what'll be his third start here now in the NFL and becoming a linchpin of this NFL. This Cleveland Browns offensive line. It's really, really been impressive for what DeJuan Jones has done to this point. But the Ravens are the Ravens, and you have to respect that if you're the Browns. And I think they are coached well enough. I think they don't let the outside noise kind of get to them. If they win and late in the game, they're going to remember all the things that were said here. But they know the task at hand, and they know how important it is to go into this bye week 3-1, have 2 weeks to prepare for their San Francisco 49er team, which is probably one of the best teams in the NFL right now, top 2, top 3. I'm not cherry picking. But the San Francisco 49ers are a solid football team, but it doesn't mean anything if the Browns can't get this W Sunday. We're going to flip it up here. We're going to talk about the defensive side of the ball here against the Ravens offense. Is it going to be the new Ravens offense? Is it going to be the old Ravens offense? We'll get to that here. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Look, it's been a while for me and my wife. It took, you have kids, you got to understand you don't get nights out by yourselves. It takes a while. It takes years so you can trust your kids. But you know what the problem is? Food. You're out and we're hungry, and you want the greatest one of the greatest things that have ever been invented, a place like DoorDash. Guess what, kids? There's the app. Get some food delivered to the doorstep. Leave me and mom alone. We're out having a decent time. You've trusted DoorDash to deliver your restaurant favorites, and now you can get grocery delivery that actually delivers too. With thousands of grocery stores to choose from, you'll find the best in your neighborhood and boost your local economy with each and every order. You'll get exactly what you ordered, or we'll make it right. So sit back and enjoy quality groceries just like you picked them yourself. Want even more value? You can save on all your grocery and restaurant favorites with a $0 delivery fee on all eligible orders with a Dash Pass membership. With easy substitutions right in the app and best-in-class customer support, DoorDash delivers groceries exactly how you want it. Get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to a $20 value when you use code LOCKEDONNFL at checkout. Limited time offer. Terms apply. That's 50% off up to $20. No minimum subtotal and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and you enter the code LOCKEDONNFL. Don't forget, that's code LOCKEDONNFL for 50% off your first order with DoorDash. You know, if you're a family person, you have a busy career, look, trying to find time to go to events is hard enough. Getting tickets is even harder. That's why you need to check out Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Browse through the Game Time app, and you can look for what's coming near you. Is it a sporting event? Is it a concert? Is it a play? You can get last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. You get a picture of your seat to make sure you're satisfied. That's where you want to pay. You get the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. All these things you get through Game Time. See the view from your seat before you buy it, so you know exactly what you can expect when you get there. All in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Brown. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. And, of course, to the everyday crowd, which just keeps on growing. I appreciate you all for the support. Join the everyday crowd by being subscribed to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And, of course, Locked On Browns always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, you're stuck at work, you're late getting home, late getting to the bar to meet your buddies, go ahead to SiriusXM, search Cleveland Browns, and you can get the Cleveland Browns radio coverage before or during or while you're trying to get to your destination. Cleveland Browns defense versus the Baltimore Ravens offense. Now, this has been a struggle for the Cleveland Browns since Lamar Jackson has been with the Baltimore Ravens. He's always seemed to have the Cleveland Browns number. But Lamar Jackson, obviously, the Baltimore Ravens, obviously, I don't think they have any idea. And they're going to get a first-hand look at it. And they've watched the tape, and they have seen this defensive line decimated the Cincinnati Bengals. This defensive line decimated the Pittsburgh Steelers. This defensive line decimated the Tennessee Titans. It is a long and lengthy group. Of course, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson, even Jordan Elliott pitching in sometimes. Now you got players like Maurice Hurst, Ogbonnia-Okoronkwo, and of course, even the youngster second-year guy, Alex Wright, who had his best game as a pro Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. When you're getting to the point where you're getting your reserve players to give you solid production, and, Ogbo with a sack and a half already, was Alex Wright. We saw what he did last Sunday. Maurice Hurst, whether it's been getting it run or the pass, he has great penetration skills. He gets in the backfield and just disrupts. He's been a great addition to this team, and it was one that was basically not really hyped up at the time, and obviously all that Maurice Hurst has been through in his time in the NFL, the injuries, the bad luck. But now Maurice Hurst is out there, and this is a guy with a lot of skill. And, he is not, considered one of the best guys on this defensive line, and understandably so. But you get a guy here who can win one-on-ones, and make no mistake about it, a guy like Maurice Hurst can do just that. And he has taken the advantage of playing with these great players and been able to be really, really good and show really well for himself. Look, it's always been about Lamar Jackson when the Cleveland Browns play this team. And yes, there was a whole change in the offense philosophy where Lamar was going to be more of a pocket passer, and they brought in Odell. They drafted Zay Flowers. Even Nelson Aguilar has been a guy who's actually, been pretty good for this team to this point. But how does it work here? This new offense under Todd Monken, obviously old friend Todd Monken, hasn't had enough time to work together here. Bateman's missed time. Odell's obviously already missed a game and a half. So you really haven't gotten the work in. This isn't a team that played a lot over the summer. So with a player like Lamar and understanding everything that he can do and understanding the impact that he can have on any game at any time, I don't know the game plan has necessarily changed as far as what the Cleveland Browns need to do. The most difficult thing and the biggest thing for the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens has always been Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't kill you with your legs, he kills you by throwing the ball to 89, whether it's a short seam, whether it's a deep seam. We've seen it, rinse, repeat. We all know it. You guys know it. I know it. Heck, Yellow Dog knows it. But it's been something that's gone on here for years. And with Odell, obviously not on the practice field yet. With Bateman, not on the practice field yet. And we are now, those are Thursday's designations. Obviously, we'll know more again on Friday about the status of these guys. It certainly gives you some pause to hesitation on a team that's got to travel to whether or not these guys are going to be ready. Zay Flowers has been impressive. It was a big fan of his, coming out during the draft cycle out of Boston College. Certainly was not thrilled that the Baltimore Ravens took him. But if he's going to go in here as the top dog, and look, Nelson Aguilar, the vertical ability, he's always been good with that. But if Zay Flowers is the top dog, he's going to be facing either Denzel Ward, or he's going to be facing Martin Emerson, or if you line up on the slot, he's going to be facing Greg Newsome, who is playing like one of the top nickelbacks in the NFL right now. None of those matchups are really good. You got a rookie against, a physical corner in Emerson, a smart technician in Denzel Ward, and a quick-hipped guy who can do everything Zay Flowers can from a cornerback position in Greg Newsome. So, if it's going to be Zay Flowers as your top wide receiver one on Sunday without a Bateman, without an Odell Beckham Jr., I think the Browns can pretty much find a way to cancel out any production from Zay Flowers. Ronnie Stanley, left tackle, obviously looks to be back this week. Simpson at left guard. Linderbaum looks to be back this week at center. Old friend Kevin Zeitler, after all these years, just still plugging away at right guard for the Baltimore Ravens. And Morgan Moses at right tackle. This is probably one of the better offensive lines that the Browns have faced to this point. I don't think they're just going to have the wrecking ball defense that they've had these last couple of weeks here. This is a much better unit collectively. They play well as a team. They're good individually. They're going to have to take your advantages here, and you have to play smart here. That's certainly going to be one of the biggest things, for Jim Schwartz, is just finding what area he thinks he can attack, whether it's the middle on Tyler Linderbaum. He's a really, really good center, but Tyler Linderbaum, a little short-armed, south of 300 pounds. You want to start going after him. Maybe you can get more Easthurst, some wins on the inside. You're going to start rotating Myles Garrett back, maybe on taking some interior reps here, either against guards or against the center. Certainly stuff to keep your eyes on. The Mark Andrews thing, Mark Andrews has been a pain for this team forever. But you look at one thing, with Grant Delpit playing closer to the line of scrimmage, the abilities of, McLeod. You have a true free safety now in Juan Thornhill. Even JOK can help. I think you have the true ability now to play high and low on Mark Andrews. And look, I don't know if you're going to take away a guy like that, but you can probably limit the damage that a guy like Mark Andrews does to it. One other thing I'm just going to put out here that I think you guys should watch out for is, how they do handle Lamar. I'm not necessarily sure that, Jim Schwartz is going to go the spy route, but when we get to it here in segment 3, if he does, there's a couple names that you're going to look for here that are probably going to be, put with the task of making sure Lamar Jackson does not kill you with your legs. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. We continue to roll on here. Your pregame edition, Browns, Ravens, Sunday, 1 o'clock. And if you can't get to the TV screen, make sure you go to SiriusXM, search Cleveland Browns, and you'll have at least the audio side of Browns, Ravens. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Football host Vinny Iyer to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So let's see who Vinny has picked out for us on this week's eBay Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley has the classic rebound and revenge opportunity in London in the Week 4 Sunday matchup against his former team, the Falcons. Ridley has been very quiet with Jacksonville's passing game, slumping the past 2 weeks, but he will return more to his stellar Week 1 debut for his new team. The Jaguars will do a better job of scheming him open across the pond and making his massive target volume from Trevor Lawrence count big time again. Vinny Iyer from Locked On Fantasy Football is going to help you win your fantasy football championship in eBay Motors. As a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Browns-Ravens Sunday, 1 o'clock at Cleveland Browns Stadium. This is a big one, obviously, here. The Browns with the opportunity to go 3-1 through the first 4 games of the season. Get a bye week. Get everybody rested. Get everybody on the same page as you go against one of the top teams in the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers. I had mentioned Lamar Jackson and the abilities that Lamar has. And look, when it comes to be a close game, when it comes to be a tight game, Lamar Jackson's going to be Lamar Jackson. And, look, this new Todd Monken offense where they want him to play like a true quarterback, which Lamar has all the capabilities of doing. There's no question of that. Lamar Jackson has the ability to win from the pocket as a passer in the NFL. But without the possibility of Odell Beckham Jr., without the possibility of Rashad Bateman, and the game gets tight, what do? You go to what's always worked for you. And Lamar Jackson, whether it's throwing or with his legs, has been a guy that's dominated this league ever since he stepped foot in the NFL. Former NFL MVP. Those things don't happen, without being a true game breaker. So with the ability of JOK to be somebody who could spy against him, and with what we've seen from Grant Delpit here over the last couple of weeks, Grant Delpit getting nickel reps at the linebacker position, getting dime reps at the linebacker position, I wouldn't be surprised if Grant Delpit is also going to be another player that's going to be tasked with the role of making sure Lamar doesn't go Lamar and, take this game over with his legs. This is certainly things that the Browns can do. I do believe this is part of the reason why we've seen Grant Delpit playing so much closer to the line of scrimmage. Part of the reason why we've seen Grant Delpit playing more as, playing some nickel safety, playing some nickel linebacker, some dime linebacker. This is another avenue you can go. You get him closer to the line of scrimmage. Grant Delpit runs sub 4.4. It's not like he's a slow guy. He certainly has, the foot speed to run with a player like Lamar Jackson. He's playing with a very, very special physicality right now. You definitely can see kind of like the light. When a guy's playing in a contract year, and Grant Delpit knows he's playing in a contract year. And it's just been lights out for Grant Delpit to this point. I think it's 8 receptions, 22 yards allowed to this point. 8 receptions for 22 yards. Just say those numbers. Crazy, crazy numbers. Already holds an interception in his career against Lamar Jackson. Look, the Browns are going to want this one. They want this one badly. This team has been a thorn in their side, even though in 2022, the Cleveland Browns and Baltimore Ravens split. 2021, the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens split. Both Browns wins in the last 2 seasons against Baltimore Ravens have come at home. So you think that's certainly going to be an advantage here. It's been electric at Cleveland Browns Stadium over the first 2 home games. Obviously, they've gave up 3 points to the Bengals, gave up 3 points to the Tennessee Titans. I think the Ravens could come in with maybe a little bit better effort than that. This could maybe be the closest game the Browns will be involved in 3 or 4 games here to this point. But this is a big one here. And look, Deshaun's got to work everybody. It's got to be Coop. It's got to be Moore. It's obviously got to be Donovan Peoples-Jones. Hopefully get David Njoku involved a little bit more. The offensive line, of course, Jones, and of course, Jedrick Wills. Man, if there was ever a week we needed a big Jedrick Wills week, this would be the week here. With these stand-up linebackers, and Jed is just, not as athletically gifted as a lot of left tackles in this league. He's got to do his best to get there and keep the motor on and keep going 110% from, during the whistle. I mean, you just got to be smart about this because, this this is a difficult matchup for this team. And obviously the Baltimore Ravens are going to come in just as motivated as the Cleveland Browns. I'm really, really interested in the way the running back, I don't want to say shares work or the rotation works. I just want to see if Coach Stefanski, has gotten to a point where he thinks he, has an idea what works well for Jerome Ford, has an idea what works well for maybe a guy like Pierre Strong. Like I keep mentioning that name, man. There's going to be an opportunity where Pierre Strong just breaks a 60-yard run. I'm going to tell you right now, it's coming and it's coming soon here. But for the rest of the wide receivers, just keep doing what you're doing. I think last week it was I think it was 15 receptions to Cleveland Browns wide receivers last week. This is certainly something to keep an eye on here. Did they try to use Jerome Ford a little bit more as a receiver here, as he had a lot of success last week? Ran that sluggo route for the touchdown, something I know the Tennessee Titans didn't, obviously weren't ready for, but it's certainly something that's going to be on the Baltimore Ravens radar. If, Jerome Ford lines up wide, they're not going to be fooled this time. They're going to be ready to go. Watch out for Kyle Hamilton, ball hawk for the Baltimore Ravens. Actually even had 3 sacks last week in their game against the Indianapolis Colts, even though they did lose. Kicker matchup, obviously, the Browns are happy with Hopkins. Tucker's one of the best in the business. Be smart. Don't turn the ball over. Light on penalties. This is things the Browns have done well to this point, even though it's 6 turnovers in 3 games, and 4 turnovers in the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Do not turn the ball over. Do not give this team the opportunity. When the gun goes off Sunday, I think Cleveland Browns 23, Baltimore Ravens 16. Cleveland Browns to go 3-1 and head into the bye week. I am Jeff Lloyd, your host here at Locked On Browns. Now my 7th season, just got my anniversary gift, right? Nice from the network. Appreciate what everybody from Locked On has done for me, the opportunity they have given me. As I always say, you have a job you love, you never work a day in your life. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I suggest if you are not part of the party that you make that correction now and subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go Browns.